Happening viewers, me and team here. Welcome to a Starcraft 2 match. I will be the blue Protoss, the me and team, yes, and my opponent will be Thales, the red Zerg. So, I forget the name of this map, but it's a 4-player map. So it's a little bit harder to do the cheesy peasy, and it favors macro slightly, but you can still cheese, so you just have to find the person in time. Anyway, this is Thales is Division Rank 8 in Diamond, just like me, actually. I'm also Division Rank 8 in Diamond, so this is going to be a matchup between players who are evenly ranked in different divisions. Anyway, I'm going 9 Pylon in Scouting. I've just learned over time that 9 Pylon Scouting is easily the best practice, just because it avoids any 6-pull shenanigans. You can see that coming in time. You can have your probes ready for it. You can respond to it. I actually got 6-pulled all in with drones by somebody in a recent game. Narrowly came out on top of that, actually. I was going for a fast expand in that game and actually put my stuff at the bottom of the ramp. And despite doing that, I still managed to micro my probes enough to keep him off of my second pylon down there and get some zealots out. And then it just turned into a game of who had more workers and who could out micro the other. And I did manage to get into his base with a couple zealots, start killing drones, and he got a spine up, but I killed it kind of as it finished, and just killed so many drones that he couldn't do anything. All right, here I get the scout off, see that he's got, his early hatchery. In fact, he went 15 hatch, which makes me sad that I didn't proxy 1 gate. It seems like every time I go to proxy 1 gate, they open up pull first, but when I go more standard, they don't. But anyway, he sees this and panics, which is kind of what I was going for, because, boom, I had no intention ever of of doing anything. I made it look like I was going to cannon rush his natural and then didn't. And he really should have realized that I couldn't do anything and tagged my probe, because there is no way. No way. Although I guess he was afraid because he didn't have a spawning pull yet, so there you go. I actually could maybe put some pressure on him if I'd proxy 2 or just regular 2-gated, but I didn't. No combat X-style, and he's trying to find me, I guess. Not sure why he sent his drone somewhere. There was an overlord, maybe checking for sneak expo. Doubtful. Anyway, I've claimed the Zelnaga tower. I'm just waiting to go back into his base and see how many drones he's committed to or whatever, so no big deal there. Got my zealot out. Went pretty standard. I guess I went slightly late gas, but really, we're talking 9 pylon, 12 gate. You get the 15 pylon and cyber core a little bit after that. Pick up this around 15. No big deal. This is stuff that a lot of Protoss do. And on seeing the drone enter my base, take my second gas, I don't want him screwing me there. And I'm going to actually show him 4 gate on purpose. This is something I like to do. Just for maybe convince him to build some extra drones. He did overreact earlier in the game. Gonna do a little bit of micro to try to get this guy, but it's not gonna be easy. But yeah, I'm gonna try to head him off because he's gonna want to come down this way most likely to see my tech. He does see the 4 gateways though, so he's reading 4 gate. Let's see how he's responding. He's still getting drones, so he's not taking the bait, so to speak. But he does get blocked off a little bit there. Maybe ran out of queued commands and gets picked off. Also, very important for a lot of players is to check the probe count. I have way too many probes to be doing a traditional 4-gate, and I've used too many chrono boosts for it also to be a traditional 4-gate. So that's that. Instead, I'm going to take an expo, and I guess he did feel a little bit nervous about the gateway pressure because he has dropped the Roach Warren and a couple spines. So, whatever. Taking a look at the units tab. Oh my god, actually, he cut a lot of drones. What's he doing? I mean, I know he used up 2 to get these, but that's not going to get it done as Zerg. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe he's just fearing the shown pressure or something. I don't know. There we go. That's a better number. And I'm sure. Let's see what he spends this wave on. Roaches. Roaches. Now that's interesting. I wonder what his basis for going roaches was. He doesn't know that I have an expo just yet, so now he knows. At this point is when he knows. So he was going roaches blindly there, either expecting the 4-gate press to be coming, or to do an attack of his own. I don't know. I don't agree with that. Zerg usually has to be committal one way or the other. In fact, most races do, really. I was showing this, but just as a bluff to go into an expansion. And you're going to see, other than the 150 mineral delay for the expansion, I pretty much put my resources into an expo. Yeah, I've got a token force, and if they try to run up here, I can force field, run down here, maybe force field some of their units. But this is expo all the way. Not going to do a transfer because I'm not very well saturated. But at this point, being ahead on the harvester count and having enough to defend myself is going to make it hard for the Zerg to do much. People say that Zerg need to be base up. I'm not really convinced of that. But the fact that I'm already ahead in harvesters and I've already dropped the Nexus, and looking at army, pretty similar. I'm a little bit ahead there too, though. So I don't know. Maybe the pylon bluff slowed him down. Maybe he's just been missing injects. In fact, I think pretty sure that's what's going on. I've actually been using my chrono boost until recently, so there's something. And got Robo. Yeah, there we go. Getting an observer out, but he has a little. I don't know what you'd call this. There's no way that's going to do any damage. I guess it's just a scouting thing. Let's see what he can see with it. Yeah, so he's going to see some zealots. I'm going to get a block there with my zealots, which was the entire point. And yeah, he just pulls back. Okay, looking good. I would expect him to respond to this by taking a third, which he's doing right now. Trying to get a base up on me. And because I'm expecting this, one of the first things I'm going to do with my observers out is scout his third. Let's see if I have that going on here. Yeah, here we go. Observer on the way. And if you look at its queued orders, it's looking for the third. And then I'm going to go through and check out his tech and army and whatnot. Meanwhile, I've dropped... Oh, no, I haven't yet. But I'm going to go up to a 5th gateway. I'm just going to go like 5 gate with a robo instead of just the traditional 6 gate. But this is pretty standard play. Should be grabbing an upgrade already, but I'm kind of slipping in macro, I guess. Although if you look at the spending, I have kept up in that regard at least. In terms of saturation, oh my god. What is this Zerg doing? No! Now you're droning up, but even after an entire wave of drones, I'm still going to be in the lead by a little bit. I don't know what's up with that. But looks like he is going more drones, dropping a Spire here. I am going to see that, right? Pretty sure I do. Let's see. Oh yeah, I checked out his army there. Saw he's got a very unimpressive force of Roach and Ling. So now I really want to know what his tech is. And pushing through here. Yep, there's the Spire. Not sure when I click on it. I think I just hang out with the probe here for a while. And eventually do notice the Spire building. But I'm kind of slow on that. I really should have been following what that observer's doing. Instead, I realized he was taking a third. And so I prepped a force, and I'm going to go down there. And if you look at the spending here, I read this all the way, that he was going to try to take a third and drone up. So, massive force here. Don't have +1 finished yet. I am researching it. But I really don't want him to saturate this or get any true benefit out of it. I want it to be a wasted effort. He's not even responding to this. So he knows he can't really fight this force, and he's just going to run away. So if he loses some larvae here, he loses... kill the hatch. Loses his hatch. Apparently got himself supply locked. Not sure what that's all about. And I got myself a zealot surrounded and killed. Smooth. And he's got overlords everywhere. Makes me just want to go like one Void Ray or Phoenix to punish it. But yeah, working Immortals into my build still. Roaches don't enjoy these, and they surely love those roaches, so I'm going to do that. Looking at the units tab, he is ahead on the drones now, but he's not going to get a whole lot from that off 2 base. And if you see that, we are virtually identical here. Maybe he's got like 20 up on me, but without an extra base, he's not going to be able to make anything happen. Looking over to production, he's saved up for a lot of mutas. That's a lot of mutalisks. I did at this point realize Spire, though, I believe. Yeah, and I actually went Warp Gate, and I was going to do a Warp Prism drop. I'm not sure where that Warp Prism is, but taking out the rocks for some reason. Yeah, here it is, Warp Prism. I was going to send it down and around and just harass this third a little bit, warping some Zealots. 3 or 4 Zealots with +1 is really obnoxious. You really need some decent defenses to deal with that, and the Warp Prism can just kind of appear there. And yeah, I'm kind of high on minerals here, so I warp in some Zealots. Oh no, he didn't react and got its Overlord picked off by a cannon. Yeah, these cannons are a response to the mutas, but a kind of weak one. And here come these mutas. And I'm a bit out of position here, having just taken out the rocks, considering taking my own third as I harass his. But this is just brutal. Oh my god, this sucks. Maybe if I had 2 or 3 cannons instead of just one, he would have been deterred a little bit, or I would have bought more time. But I don't respond to this very well. And we are going to see a lot of probes get killed, which just sucks. We'll get a muta, maybe 2 mutas, 2 mutas. Nope, going rate's just 1 muta. So now I'm down pretty big time. I am going to re-macro this, queued up a whole ton of probes immediately, chrono boosting each of them. But that was really bad, and looking at the units lost, it shows. So I also noticed from my warp prism, I failed to do anything with it because of the muta harass, but the warp prism was not worthless. It showed that he was trying to double expand, telling me he thought he was behind for some reason. So my response to this is, well, okay, if he's going to be taking a lot of these, he's probably not quite ready yet. None of them are saturated, or they are all pretty recent. So I'm going to push out and just attack him. And that's probably the right read, because my army's a lot bigger. If you pause this, I'm at 1-0, he is at 0-0, so really lame on the upgrades. I will make it to 1-1 before I do any significant fighting, just because I'm so close. But this tells the story. I'm ahead on army spending and ahead on upgrades, and I'm pushing in, so off we go. No, we do not want to watch faster times 2. Let's just see if that upgrade, if I time this right. It should be about on time. It's a little bit early, but I can get away with it because I'm not engaging Israel forces yet. He is bringing in roaches. I'm actually training Colossi, but it's late. Now, a couple things here. He's got the mutas coming in from the side. That's fine. If you're fighting a flock of mutas with stalkers, absolutely use some sentries for guardian shields. These mutas, despite their +1, anytime they're attacking into guardian shields, they have to deal with the -2 for the guardian shield, and their bouncing attacks are also reduced. So mutas are terrible against guardian shield. Meanwhile, this is not a good place for roaches to be fighting. Virtually everything I have except for zealots, which are melee, outrange the roaches. So this is a really good area for me to engage. I'm not sure why he willingly fought me here. I would have expected him to at least make a play for a concave here, or something along those lines. Make my life a little bit more miserable. I mean, yeah, I could force field him then, but still, geez. He's going to take out some stalkers with that flank, but yeah, the Immortals are going to do a ton of damage per shot to the roaches, and he doesn't have any links to absorb that. And yeah, now just keep Guardian shielding. Keep Guardian shielding. It won't do a lot of damage at all as long as I keep that going on. And yeah, the mutas are going to melt to the stalkers, while the roaches actually get worked over pretty nicely by the handful of Immortals I have in this stack. Just reinforcing that Robo is pretty good. And I would have had Blink eventually. In fact, if you check here, I did pick up a Twilight Council to allow for other upgrades. I was considering Blink on his mutas, but once he threw them all away, I wasn't going to bother. And yeah, complete destruction here. And he left way too much of an army over. Yeah, he can re-macro because he's all these hashes, but you have to kill some units or it doesn't work. And that's what we're going to see here. Even 30 lings with this many units remaining, it's just not going to do anything. They're misrallied anyway. So that's pretty well the end of Thales. There he goes ahead and GG's out. So, hey, there you go. I don't do macro games too often, preferring the cheesy peasy or one-base play, but maybe I'll throw in some macro now and then, just so I can keep practicing it. Certainly, I can keep up decently on the spending these days. A little high on the gas, but I could easily have transitioned to some gas-heavy units to spend it. And you don't need that much APM to keep your money low, I guess. So there you go. Thumbs up if you liked the video. Me and team signing out.